Dear students, today we are going to study purification of organic compounds. So the first method in the field of organic chemistry is preparation of organic compound. For one particular purpose, we prepare organic compound in the laboratory. Next step, purification of organic compound. So when we have pure organic compound, we can study the properties. So we need physical properties, chemical properties of organic compounds. Then only we can study their applications, right? So 100% pure organic compound is necessary. So many purification techniques or methods are available. So based on the nature of organic compound, different methods of purification are available in the field of organic chemistry. So one by one we will discuss. First, for separating the solid components of a mixture, we have sublimation process, next crystallization process, fractional crystallization process. So these three are common methods of purifying solid mixtures. So while preparing the organic compound, impurities may be present. If the mixture is in solid state, to purify that, to separate organic compound, we may follow any one of the following methods: sublimation process, crystallization process, or fractional crystallization process. Then for liquid mixtures, to purify liquid mixtures, we have many techniques. Number one, distillation process. So in distillation method, different types are available. For example, fractional distillation, then steam distillation, then azeotropic distillation, and the distillation under reduced pressure, which is not given in our book. Distillation under reduced pressure, then differential extraction, and last, chromatographic techniques. So we have many methods of purifying organic compound. For purifying the solid components of a mixture, we may go for sublimation process, crystallization process, or fractional crystallization. Then to purify the liquid mixtures, we may go for distillation, fractional distillation, steam distillation, azeotropic distillation, distillation under reduced pressure, differential extraction, and chromatography. Okay. So distillation under reduced pressure is not given in our book. So remaining all these methods will be discussed. So one by one we will go. First, sublimation process. So this is not new to us, we already studied in lower classes. So we take certain substances like iodine, ammonium chloride, then naphthalene, organic compound, naphthalene. So these two are inorganic compounds. Naphthalene or camphor. This is one more question. What are the substances which will undergo sublimation? These substances are heated to get vapors directly. When we heat these substances, it will not be converted into liquids by melting process. Directly this will be converted from solid into gas. So this is called a sublimation process. Okay, so these are all examples. One more question. Okay, how can we use this sublimation method for the separation of components of a mixture? So take naphthalene. So in laboratory, we prepare naphthalene. So after the preparation, we have obtained an impure compound. So during the preparation, definitely we will not get 100% pure compound. So the impure compound has to be purified. So the prepared organic compound is naphthalene, which is not 100% pure. Some impurities will be there. To remove the impurity, we may select a sublimation process because the substance can undergo sublimation, can be directly converted into vapor. So this is volatile in nature. So the substance naphthalene is volatile in nature. It can be directly converted into vapors. And some other impurities may be there. For example, if glucose is there, so this is non-volatile in nature. So when the mixture is heated, naphthalene will be converted into vapors. The glucose will be melted. So based on the volatile nature of organic compound naphthalene, we separate it. So the process is called the sublimation process. So how can we do this sublimation process? For that, just to take the organic mixture in a beaker. So take the mixture of organic compound. So we have naphthalene organic compound along with impurity. So the mixture is taken in a beaker. We just heat it. And the beaker is covered by a watch glass. So in laboratory, we have already seen what is watch glass. So which is covered by a watch glass. When we heat it, the impurity which is non-volatile in nature will be settled in the beaker, but the volatile organic compound naphthalene will come out as vapors due to sublimation process. So the naphthalene molecules will be adsorbed on the surface of watch glass. So organic substance will be settled at the bottom of watch glass. So removing the watch glass, we can get organic compound. So this is sublimation process for separating organic compound from the impurities. Sometimes we may use sublimation under reduced pressure. Some organic compounds will be decomposed when we heat it. For example, if naphthalene becomes vapor at a particular temperature. So some organic compounds, when it becomes vapor, the substance may be decomposed. So the substance should not be decomposed. We get vapors at the same time the substance should not be decomposed so that we will reduce the pressure. So sublimation under reduced pressure technique can also be adapted for certain compounds. So first method is sublimation. So 3 more questions. Next 5 more questions. Explain crystallization process. So when we take solids, which are 2 types, one is crystalline solid, another one is amorphous solid. We take sodium chloride or sugar, these are all crystalline in nature. But plastics, rubber, polymers, they are all amorphous substance. So crystalline solid will have a proper arrangement in 3 dimensions. So in this process, we are going to get organic compound in the form of crystals. They are the solid mixtures. Along with the organic compound, impurities present. We remove the impurity and we get organic compound in the form of crystal. So the process is called the crystallization process. Then what are the steps followed in the crystallization process? First, selection of solvent. So we have obtained a mixture which has organic compound as well as impurity. Now we are going to dissolve the organic compound in a solvent. So the unwanted impurity is mostly non-volatile in nature. So the unwanted impurity will be removed. It should not be dissolved in a solvent. So based on the organic compound, we have to select the solvent. Already we studied different types of solvents. We have polar as well as non-polar solvents. So organic compounds are what? They are non-polar compounds. It does not have any charges. Pole represents charge. Organic compounds are not having any charges. They are non-polar in nature, so that we can select non-polar solvents. So in the crystallization process, we will use non-polar solvent to dissolve the organic compound. Then impurity will not be dissolved in this. Okay. Then a suitable solvent should be there. Many organic solvents are available, like chloroform, carbon tetrachloride, ether. Many solvents are there. Based on what organic compound is prepared in the laboratory, you just select proper solvent. So organic compound will be dissolved in that. Second step, preparation of solution. So after selecting the solvent, you just add the mixture. You take a beaker or a test tube. First, solvent, a suitable solvent will be taken. With this, you just add mixture which contains organic compound as well as impurity. Organic compound will be dissolved in the solvent. Sometimes it won't dissolve easily, so we may heat it. So for the preparation of solution, we add components in the solvent. We add mixture in the solvent. If it is dissolved, okay. If organic compound is not dissolved in the solvent, we have to heat it. By heating, we get a solution. At the same time, impurity will be settled at the bottom. Because organic compound alone dissolves in the solvent, remaining impurity will not be dissolved, it will be settled at the bottom. So what is the third step? Third step is filtration. Filtration of hot solution. So for the preparation of solution, sometimes we heat it. So the hot solution will be filtered because we have to remove this impurity. So the impurity is settled at the bottom of the container or beaker or a test tube. It should be removed so that we do filtration. So in the filtration process, on the surface of filter paper, impurity is present, then we get a clear solution. In filtration of a hot solution, we get clear solution. Then fourth step is crystallization. So crystallization is the process of cooling the solution. We have to allow the solution to cool. When the temperature decreases, the organic compound will be formed as the crystals, right? So the cooling process is called the crystallization process. We should not do rapid cooling. So when we cool it using any ice bath, you will not get crystals. Organic compound will be formed as amorphous solids, but we need organic compound in the form of crystals, so that we need slow cooling process. Allow the solution to cool slowly, and if the cooling process is very slow, the crystallization is very slow, means you may just add a small quantity, a pinch of crystal in that. For example, if glucose is crystallized, we need a glucose in the form of crystal, means during the crystallization process, if the process is a slow cooling process, you just add a pinch of glucose into that, then crystallization will take place fast. Or else you can touch the sides of the container using a glass rod. So two methods may be followed. So after filtration of a hot solution, we get a clear solution. In the clear solution, we have organic compound as well as solvent. We need only organic compound in the form of crystal. So we allow the solution to cool slowly. And if the crystallization is taking place fast, amorphous solid will be formed. At the same time, if it is taking place at a very slow rate, we can increase by just touching the sides of container using glass rod, or else add a small quantity of crystal, the exact organic compound crystal. Just add it into the beaker, you will get organic compound in the form of crystals. Okay. So all the organic compounds are settled at the bottom of the container or a beaker in the form of crystals. Next, isolation and drying. Last step, isolation process and the drying of crystals. So we don't want the solvents, right? We need only organic compound. So after crystallization process, we have organic compound at the bottom as well as solvent. We have to remove the solvent. So you may do filtration process, right? So if you do filtration, we will get only organic compound in the form of crystal. So isolation process over. Next, you have to dry it. We don't want any solvent content in the crystal. So 100% pure organic compound is necessary, so that we dry it using a sunlight or using a filter paper or using some dryer, right? So electronic dryers can also be used, sometimes UV ray also. So all these can be adapted to dry the organic compound. So crystallization is the process of separating organic compound from the impurities. Finally we get organic compound in the form of crystals. So next process, distillation process. So distillation process is used to separate solid components of a mixture. Mostly this is adapted for separating the solid components of a mixture. Sometimes mostly used for liquid components, not solid components. Distillation is mostly used for separating the liquid components of a mixture. Sometimes solid components can also be separated from the liquids, right? So distillation are of different types. We take simple distillation first. So this is called the ordinary or simple distillation. And the important one more question is, this is adapted for a mixture which contains boiling point difference 40 Kelvin or above 40 Kelvin. Important one more. We take benzene, boiling point 354 Kelvin. We take nitrobenzene, 484 Kelvin. So we have a mixture of benzene and nitrobenzene. We have to separate the components. The boiling point difference is 130 Kelvin. 484 minus 354, 130 Kelvin. So this simple distillation is adapted for separating the components of a mixture in which boiling point difference will be 40 or above 40 Kelvin. Okay, this is important one more. So in simple distillation process, we will have a distillation flask. Okay. So the mixture will be taken here. The mixture which should be separated will be taken in this distillation flask, a round bottom flask. So here used, so this is called a distillation flask. So first distillation flask is fitted with a stand. At the bottom we have a Bunsen burner. Then this is a delivery tube. Next, there will be water condenser. And we have a receiver. Okay. So there will be a beaker at the end. So the organic mixture will be taken in the round bottom flask, is also known as distillation flask. We have a delivery tube, water condenser as well as a receiver. So the major principle of this distillation is, if two components present in the mixture, example benzene and the nitrobenzene, if the liquid mixture is heated, When component reaches its boiling point, it will become vapor. So benzene as well as nitrobenzene are having a particular boiling point. Benzene 354 Kelvin and nitrobenzene 484 Kelvin. Along with that, some impurities may also be present. So when we heat it, which component will reach its boiling point first? Benzene. So when we heat the distillation flask exactly at 354 Kelvin, the benzene will come out as vapor already, which is in the liquid form. From the mixture, when we heat it, that will come out as benzene vapors. Then water condenser is attached to the delivery tube. Continuously water molecules are circulating in the water condenser. So the benzene vapor, when it comes through the water condenser, it will be liquefied. So it is cooled. So we again get liquid benzene. So component will come out as vapor when it reaches boiling point. Based on this technique, we separate the components. So first benzene component will come out at 354 Kelvin. At the same time, nitrobenzene will come out at 484 Kelvin. If impurity is present, that will be settled in the distillation flask. So this is the method of separating the components of a liquid mixture. This is simple distillation. Next, fractional distillation means, so here we will have a fractionating tower. So with this, there will be in a fractional distillation process, the distillation flask will be attached with one more apparatus. It is called a fractionating column or fractionating tower. This fractional distillation is mainly applicable for separating the liquid components of a mixture in which boiling point difference is less than 40 Kelvin. Important one mark. If the boiling point difference in the mixture is 40 Kelvin and above 40 means ordinary distillation or simple distillation. If the boiling point difference is less than 40 Kelvin means we just choose fractional distillation. Because if boiling point difference is less than 40, when we do ordinary distillation, while heating, both the component will come out. Right? So both the components are having very less boiling point difference. So both will come out. So it is not the separation process. So that we had one more apparatus called a fractionating tower or fractionating column. So using this, each component will come out separately at its boiling point. So this is called a fractional distillation process. Next is steam distillation process. So in steam distillation process, along with distillation flask, so take next one, steam distillation. So in this steam distillation process, we are going to separate the components of a mixture. Along with the distillation flask, we will have one more flask which contains water molecules. Right? So when this flask is heated, it becomes steam. The steam combines with this mixture. So this is called a steam distillation process. When we heat a distillation flask along with the liquid components, steam will also come out. As usual, when we cool in the water condenser part, we get liquid component as well as water. So both will be obtained, then again it will be separated. So the same distillation principle, we have one more flask in which water is there. By heating it, steam will combine with this liquid components. Both the gases will come out. So this is called a steam distillation process. Now this flask will be in the inclined position. So this is a distillation flask. The major aspect of this steam distillation is the organic compound. That means the liquid component should be stable one. So the organic compound should not be dissolved in steam, and its vapor pressure should be more. So for the organic compound, the vapor pressure should be more at 373 Kelvin, because what is the boiling point of water? 100 degrees Celsius or 373 Kelvin. So at 100 degrees Celsius or 373 Kelvin, the organic compound should not be dissolved in the steam, as well as it should have high vapor pressure, and it should be a stable one. Okay, so there are certain characteristics, and the impurities present. The impurities will be mostly non-volatile in nature. So non-volatile impurity will be settled at the bottom. So this is called a steam distillation process. One more question: what is the application of this steam distillation? This is used for the manufacturing of aniline, turpentine oil, as well as extracting the essential oils from the plants as well as flowers. Right? So steam distillation is used in many separation processes. Next one is azeotropic distillation. So if you take azeotropic distillation, the components of a mixture containing boiling point difference less than 40 will be separated by fractional distillation. We already studied. If the boiling point difference is very less, that means below 40 Kelvin, means we may go for fractional distillation. Even fractional distillation is not enough to separate the components, means we may go for azeotropic distillation. So this distillation is used to separate the components of a mixture which cannot be separated by fractional distillation. So this is called azeotropic distillation, and the mixture is called azeotropic mixture, and the components are called azeotrophs. Right? These are all one more questions. The mixture which cannot be separated by fractional distillation can be separated by azeotropic distillation. They are azeotrophs, azeotropic mixture. What we are doing this in this distillation means, with this mixture, we will add a third component. So we may add a component like benzene, carbon tetrachloride, or ethylene glycol, or glycerol. So by adding any one of the components, we are going to separate the components of a mixture. So what is the role of these components? Why we have to add this component with this? So consider alcohol in water, ethanol mixed with water. When ethanol mixed with water, we get a mixture. We have to separate the components. And consider that its composition is 95.87% alcohol and 4.13% water. The boiling point difference is very small. Between the alcohol and water, boiling point difference is very small. Fractional distillation will not be a very good method of separating this mixture, so that we may go for azeotropic distillation. In this process, with the mixture, when we add benzene or carbon tetrachloride, this will reduce the partial vapor pressure of alcohol. Okay, so we have alcohol and water in the mixture. When we add a benzene as well as carbon tetrachloride, it will reduce partial vapor pressure of alcohol. So boiling point of alcohol will be increased. When vapor pressure reduced means boiling point will be increased. So water molecule will come out first. So during the distillation, when the boiling point of alcohol is increased, the low boiling liquid water will come out first. So this is the principle of azeotropic distillation. Instead of these two, you may add a glycol or glycerol. If you add these two, these high boiling liquids will just decrease the partial vapor pressure of water. Partial vapor pressure will be lowered, then by boiling point increased. So alcohol will come first. So these components will decreases the vapor pressure and increases the boiling point. So that other component with low boiling point can come first. So this is called azeotropic distillation. Next one, differential extraction. So here we are going to separate the organic compound from the aqueous solution. From aqueous solution, we are going to separate organic compound. So we have organic compound in this aqueous solution. That should be separated. So for that we need a particular solvent. Okay, organic compound is non-polar in nature. So with this aqueous solution, we have to add a non-polar solvent like carbon tetrachloride, chloroform, ether, any one organic non-polar solvent will be added. So organic compound will be dissolved. So you will have two layers. There will be separation of two layers. One is aqueous layer, another one is organic layer. And the apparatus used to separate these two layers is called separating funnel. Okay, so in laboratory it is available, a glass funnel. So in this glass funnel, first we take the mixture which contains non-polar organic compound in aqueous solvent, mostly water. So we have to separate the non-polar organic compound from the aqueous solution. For that, in the separating funnel, we add organic solvent, non-polar solvent will be added like ether, carbon tetrachloride, chloroform. So when we continuously shake this separating funnel, when we shake this, we get two layers, right? Aqueous layer and organic layer. Aqueous layer will have impurities. Impurities will be in the water solvent. Then organic compound will be in the non-polar organic solvent. So there will be two layers in the separating funnel. So the two layers have to be separated. So at the bottom of separating funnel, we will have a stopcock. So when we open it, these two layers can be separated. So in the separating funnel, these two layers will be present based on their density. The low denser liquid will be at the top, and high denser liquid will be at the bottom. So based on the density, we will have two layers which can be separated. So separating funnel is used in this differential extraction method. So remaining, we have chromatographic technique. So column, thin layer, paper. So many chromatographic techniques are available that will be discussed tomorrow. Thank you.